Hey everybody, welcome back to the Say Love You podcast. I'm Sebastian,
I'm Laura.
and today we're going to be talking about episode 7 of our web series, Say Love You.
That's right. And if you haven't been here before, this is a podcast that's going to talk to you about how I made the web series that I wrote, and Sebastian was a big part of helping me get that done, and how we did it, what we learned from it. You catch a few interviews here and there, maybe some after the show stuff to talk about the theme of the episode, but you can catch the episode as well on YouTube or TikTok. And please go watch them, subscribe. If you're listening to this podcast on a podcast platform, please find us on YouTube or TikTok. You can find us under Say La Vie, and you can also find us under Vinci Productions.
Awesome.
So
episode
7.
Say
Kate's anniversary.
Right. Kate's anniversary.
So this is the episode where Kate, the protagonist, in the beginning, I'm reminiscing about my past life with my French husband, where we met in Paris and had our children, and then we moved to the United States. And I'm realizing I'm really longing to leave back to Paris, and I decide to plan a romantic anniversary that is a sort of a reenactment of our first date in Paris. And so, and then it all sort of just falls apart.
Yeah.
And I
It's a
won't
cute
tell you.
episode.
I'll tell you all the things that fall apart in the actual storyline, but we can talk about what happened in the filming of it. And we're hoping, like, if you're listening to this right now and you haven't seen the episode, please go watch the episode. Pause this and then come back, because you're going to get more out of it.
Watch the episode before you listen or watch the podcast.
You're going to get so much more out of it.
You'll understand what we're talking about. You'll see where we are literally, physically on set. And
right, if you're watching the podcast on YouTube.
Yes.
But if you're listening just to the podcast, then you don't know where we are. We could be
I mean, like, when we refer to things within the episode, you'll have a visual aid
of what we're talking about,
where
we are.
What we are talking about.
Exactly.
And who.
Yeah. So let's talk about when we filmed episode 7. That episode weirdly kept getting bumped around.
It was.
And because episode 1 kept getting bumped around because it kept raining.
Weather, right.
And in episode 1, Kate jumps in a pool.
Yeah.
And we're filming in the backyard a bit. And so we didn't want to do it on a really rainy day. Because even if it would have been... the visual of Kate dripping wet was not as funny if rain's pouring down on her. That's more like a love story, drama.
Notebook moment,
I feel like,
maybe.
Yeah. Maybe not so much the comedy I was looking for. I don't know. We were going to originally, like, if it rains, big deal.
We have to shoot it.
We will shoot it. But then we were like, no, let's bump it. And we did bump it. And do you know what that caused us to have to replace the actor, the contractor?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because we bumped it twice and then he couldn't go to the next schedule. So that's for another discussion. But Episode 1, go back and listen to it. That's there. But for this episode, we have a series of things happening. So the episode starts off in the morning of Kate's anniversary, and then it goes through a series of Kate trying to plan the day.
Right.
And then flash forward, it's the nighttime, and it's the actual anniversary.
Right.
And consequence is not the word I'm looking for. Things that I have to climb over.
Challenges.
Obstacles. That's the word I was looking for. What challenges or obstacles arrive for Kate and her anniversary dinner. What obstacles arrived for us? Well, this episode, the second half of it, was shot twice.
Right.
Because it was chosen to shoot in a specific manner. This is back to talking about, as showrunners and writers, having our full vision, but then the director and the DP going off and setting the camera in a way that wasn't feeding the vision.
Right.
And then also the issue of it wasn't actually night. We were shooting day for night. And even though it was getting dusk, we had a problem with the front door in this house has a window in it, a small window. And even though we blacked out the windows that were on the inside that go to the out of the dining room where the action was taking place, the entryway into the house feeds directly into the dining room. And when you would shoot, there were supposed to be people coming in and out of the door. Oh, we have dogs barking. I don't know that we're going to be able to do anything about that. So hopefully people don't hear them. It is a dynamic mic, so it might pick it up. But and we're getting a nod from our sound that we are picking up. Does it matter? Do people care? This is my question.
I think it gives us a little reality to it.
Yeah, I mean, what are we gonna do?
We're not gonna.
We're literally on a couch in a house.
Yeah,
we're not in a couch in a sound studio. So if you're watching us on YouTube, this couch is actually my couch, and if you're listening to us on a podcast, we are shooting. We're recording in my house. So because of this, we do have a couple dogs, and they may make noise. And we dealt with the dogs on set a lot too. And most days it was okay, but then there were these weird days where the dogs would just not stop. And part of that was the one actor who kept, when he'd come in the door, would slam the door. And so we had many scenes where the actor had to come in and out of the door, and we kept telling him, you don't actually, look at the camera's not on the door.
Yeah.
Don't actually open and close the door and come in. Like, we'll get that in post, the sound. And he kept doing it, and then the dogs would bark, so. That was a whole nother thing.
But another episode.
Yeah, but I mean, it is whatever. He had his process. I'm not upset. It's just it's one of those things that occurred.
Yeah, you have to deal.
That you have to deal with and figure out. And we did finally get him to not go through and open and close the door. We did finally get him to stop. That was actually even episode 1. He was one of the first ones that started happening in. But so for this episode, the issue with the door was, we could black out the window in the door, but we had to do it in such a way where it didn't look like when you're shooting at the door, we had blacked out the door.
Opens.
And then we had the problem with the door opening, it would let light in.
And shooting at the door.
At the door.
What so it looks like nighttime inside, but when you would open it was middle of the day.
I think it was duskish.
Yeah.
It was light. It was completely light.
True. But it was super light, and you could totally see.
Right.
And so that was a crew rigging job. We had to create a C-stand rig.
You made a little black box.
Yes, we had to put up black duvetine to black out like about 6 feet. Yeah, like maybe 6 feet.
I don't think it's 6 feet.
Well,
I think it's like a shower size, 3 feet.
Maybe it was
a small porch.
But yeah, to black it out, but. We had to connect 2 C-stands in like a, the H formation kind of thing and clip on duvetine, and it was not holding up, and we had to sandbag one and hold the other because it was like a giant sail at that point and it was catching the wind.
Right.
But it came off well. Shooting day for night is always sometimes hard.
I feel like, isn't that easier than shooting night for day, which we ended up experiencing as well. And then we ended up with an episode where we totally changed and said, screw it. Is there anything in the script that says it must be day? Who cares what time of day it is? Let's just shoot. Mm-hmm. And we did have to make that call. And that's the thing. You have to be flexible when you're shooting your own stuff. Listen, you're going to need to be flexible on a big set.
Anything.
For many reasons. You might not be making a change like that in the script. Who knows if a director would. But you're still going to need to be flexible.
100%.
Stuff happens. But when you're shooting a small production like this, you have to be really flexible because you don't have the budget or the size of the crew to fix things sometimes.
Yeah.
And
I was talking with an industry professional that came in and spoke to me in my film class, and he was talking, he's a light a key grip, and he was talking about how he's been on, student films with zero budgets and, Marvel movies with $300 million budget films, right? Crazy things. He goes, every single set, one, will have problems. Two, will change from the original. Like, you can think everything through, but you're going to have to be thinking on the fly no matter what. He goes, the only thing that is the difference is a problem will cost way more money at such a huge production value. And, just the same things happen no matter what level of, professionalism, in quotes, professionalism you're at. But,
Right.
to have that skill set of being able to think on the fly, be flexible, kind of go with the flow, and make, decisions as they come,
Right.
problem solve, that will serve you extremely well in this industry at whatever stage, whatever, level of
Oh, yeah.
production you are at.
Problem solving is huge. It's funny. You said problem solve, and immediately my mind flashed to word problems in math because I feel like you could write a lot of word problems out of what occurs on a set.
Oh, for
and,
sure.
and with some sort of, it needs a mathematical outcome. Yeah, it's interesting. But ultimately, what happened was they chose a camera angle that then didn't serve our purpose when we needed to get this other sequence.
Right.
So then they spent a lot of time because of this 180 thing, which I don't fully understand. I get that there's this whole rule about not breaking the 180, but I think
The 180 line.
the 180 line with the camera. And I understand that, but sometimes on a small set, I've watched a short where a 180 line was supposedly broken. And the editor says to me, your DP broke and your director broke the 180. And I said, it's not mattering to me. Is there something in this scene that looks odd? Does
Right.
it looks like, okay, you're looking at him from this side and then you're looking at
100%.
What did it matter?
I
Why
agree.
was that the rule? So they had such a problem with changing to this other viewpoint because they wanted to have them do this because we do a dance.
Right. Yes.
A small moment where the couple dances. But the couple dances after the main character leaves.
Right.
She leaves and she returns.
Yes.
Cut. New scene. Does it matter if you broke the 180?
No,
I
it does
said,
not.
listen, it turned into a long discussion of how they were going to set the camera to figure this out. What ultimately happened then was that took so much time, they never got the reverse shot for for the other lead character, the one who plays my husband, Olivier. And, we all felt it was at some point, we really need his close-ups. We really need the reverse. So we end up reenacting that a whole other day and reshooting the reverse. And I'm slightly worried. We're not at that, as of this recording,
Right.
we're not at that editing yet.
Yes. That's.
We're editing 1 through 4 right now, as of this recording. We'll get back to you. You'll know. Because as of this listening of this podcast, if you're listening to a podcast about episode 7, that means episode 7 has been edited and is up. Mm-hmm. So we're only hoping that we can match all that footage. And that's what happens when you have a small crew and no budget. When you have a budget, you can pay that actor to come back other days.
Of course.
You can have the same exact stage crew, but you also wouldn't have a problem with your 180 line ever. It would have been set in a way. But part of the problem was that also I sort of felt like the 180 wasn't a problem, that they could have went around the actors because of the dancing.
Yes.
But ultimately, in the small area we were shooting in, which is my dining room, on the other side is this, where we're sitting. The dining room's right off to our side right now. If they would have flipped it, there is a mirror on the wall that we would have had to work around so that if the camera person was moving around the dancing,
For sure.
that you wouldn't want to catch the camera person in the mirror.
There are ways to break that 180 rule that as long as it's justified, movement is the big one. Right? If you can move the camera with it in one take and you go through the 180 rule, doesn't matter. Us as the audience know exactly what's happening because we're being part of it.
Or if you watch something chaotic.
Super chaotic, and because it will add to that chaos. The audience is going to be thrown and moved around really quickly.
Yeah.
And then the third one is you can that scene ends.
Yeah,
and you
you're
pick
coming
up a
back.
next scene and it's a totally different moment.
Right. So why it's
so
like,
yeah,
that was
that's
my
interesting.
discussion, and
That's interesting.
That was one where I was just like, I'm having a problem understanding why you're not following like our wishes as the writers. Like, you're in a whole new scene. There was no 180. You weren't here before. It is now 2 hours later. You could be anywhere. Yeah. You could have been in another room in 2 hours later.
Yeah.
So that was my issue with it. It's it doesn't necessarily mean that the other people were wrong. I'm just saying that's I didn't go to film school, so somebody needs to explain the 180 more to me as to why I couldn't do that. But they were adamant about it not being done, and I feel like that added stress that evening. And when that added stress, I felt like it was a little bit problematic for everybody that stress was there, that instead of like, yes, they did go off to figure it out, but it seemed like they put more into figuring out this complicated solution, which caused us to have to come back and shoot another day rather than just saying, okay, we've cut to a new scene. Camera moves.
I mean, as someone who did go to film school, I was taught, yes, the 180 rule is real. I mean, it helps us with the audience and keeping, us as the audience informed and not confused. But there are those moments, like I had just mentioned, there are moments and ways you can totally cut through, and the 180 rule doesn't apply scene to scene.
Right. Yeah.
It applies one at
in
a time.
One scene.
In
movement in one scene. But what I find interesting is we talked the other day about how a lot of these people are now setting up multiple cameras. And you're moving through scenes, and you're moving from room to room into multiple cameras. There's literally no rule then.
There's no rule.
And you're following a scene.
Completely, coherently.
You can see it in Zone of Interest. What about even Babylon?
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's the whole thing, right?
Chaotic party is chaos. I guess it doesn't matter.
Well, and that's the thing. You also add the whole movement aspect to it, right? You're moving the camera, or the audience is moving, and it's justified.
Right.
We're in that Babylon scene, that crazy party. We are moving in throughout, up and down.
And I was so confused as to where I was at points.
Oh, for sure.
But it didn't.
But around the set, everything was just crazy that you found yourself again.
Right.
You find yourself again.
I think it didn't really matter to me.
Yeah.
Watching that scene where I was as the viewer, because there was so much to take in.
Everywhere you look.
I was more interested in finding the details.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah. And I found it interesting, if you watch Zone of Interest, the way that they put the cameras throughout the house is, what I heard in an interview, and how the character walks through the house. Sometimes you're seeing a character's side, and then you're seeing the back of the character, but you didn't walk through the doorway with them, but you don't get confused.
No, because it's so fluid, right? That motion is just so perfectly cut, because it is one fluid motion. We're not cutting. We're just cutting from camera to camera because it's multi-camera.
Right.
That's really cool. I mean, money
one day
is the thing. Yeah, it's like more budget.
More budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so
some really cool lessons were learned.
But so the big deal about reshooting another day with episode 7 was that,
because I wasn't there the second the reshoot of it.
Oh, you weren't. Interesting. I don't remember what day we did.
Oh no,
it.
I was there. I'm sorry.
You were?
I was there for
Okay.
Yes, I was.
Okay. So one of the big key things though, it was a giant set decoration piece.
That table.
The table. So she's recreating something. So the only way to make it when you're writing, okay, I'm recreating our anniversary of a restaurant. Well, then the restaurant needed to have something special for you to recreate. Otherwise, what are you recreating?
Right.
So it needed to be, and it gave us it gave us things for the characters to talk about in the recreation, so that then there could be these other forces coming in, wedging their way into this date night that the characters had. So in writing it, we decided that, okay, so I don't even remember how, you go back and listen to episode
7.
2
of
this podcast about the writing, because maybe I don't remember if we talk about about how we wrote that episode in terms of if we talked about all the different things that we could. I think it just literally was, as I was recreating it in my mind, I knew I had to have things for them to say, otherwise there was no recreation. So I decided, well, it's France, so it should be flowers and chocolate, but what would be the recreation? What are they talking about? And so it was, okay, so the flowers on the table in France were fake, these are real. There was chocolate candies on the table. So we had to set this all out. And then because she's recreating something in France, we need something typically, Americans see as French. And so I chose for a platter of macaron. It's macaron, please, not macaroons. It's macaron. It's 1-0. No, that word drives me crazy. But I chose for a platter of macaron. And because I had to be mindful of budget. I was not going to have a beef bourguignon or something and have to cut into it and worry about having 5 of them. As it was, we had a chicken on another set where we had to have like 5 chickens,
5 rotisserie chickens
to facilitate what was happening with the chicken on that table 100%. That night. So I was not having 5 beef bourguignons. I needed it to be easy. So I got macaron. Now, we had a lot of people help on this set. And that day was my help was to my husband, please find me macaron. Go get me macaron and have it here fresh on set for me. Please help me. He's a lovely man. He is very supportive of this and he helps in any way he can, but this is not his gig. He does not do this kind of stuff. So he ran out and got me macaron. Very expensive macaron, mind you. He didn't go to, I found out that you can get them at Sprouts in a box at Sprouts. But anyways, he went to a restaurant and bought expensive ones and brought them back, and they were literally specific flavors, which were all colors, which is the way macaron works.
Of course.
So we had to, thank God, we had to review the footage to find out the colors that the actor was piling them up and which color he bit into. All of that had to be duplicated when we decided to reshoot another day.
So much.
It was a lot to duplicate.
That attention, though, that's what differentiates, these shows from, oh, that's cute, to, oh, that's quite good, is that level of attention to detail. And that's kind of something that I learned, especially with episode 7 specifically, was the realization of every little thing. Episode 1 with the towels, right? Episode 7 with the macaron. These things that were like, at first, okay, whatever. Wait, no. These have to be the same.
Right.
The chicken, episode 5.
The chicken is in episode 1.
It is episode. Oh yeah, dinner. Yeah,
Dinner.
Yeah. But like these things, right? Food specifically, because it's being consumed. It's going away. It's not like you can just take it back and put it back. You know,
The wine in the glasses.
the wine in the glasses. I had
Pouring
to
it out to make sure it was, because he took a sip and somebody added more, and we have to make it because there
Same
were see-through
levels.
glasses, which a lot of people shoot without see-through glasses. How do you serve wine in a plastic cup that's not see-through? So and we had to do a cranberry juice. And then the next time we shot, it was a different cranberry juice. It was slightly different in color. One was cran raspberry, one was cran. It was a slightly
Yum.
different color. The actor reluctant to drink or eat too much. I totally understand that. But so wanting to mimic a lot of things until an actual take, which, by the way, every take was an actual take. So it'd been better if he took a sip and then we could add more. And we wanted him to be drunk. So he had to drink a lot of cranberry juice because we weren't going to serve him wine. I mean, you're not supposed to, and he didn't want to anyway. So at first, so we wanted it to make it look like we're like, you could take a drink, and then because we're cutting, we can dump it out and put an empty glass in front of you. Then we need you to take a drink of her glass.
Right.
We need to empty that. So, and we had to we had to save wine bottles. And thank God that at the end of that night, I saved all the chocolate hearts. I saved because it was like, you never know what's going to happen. And I put it all to the side because guess what? I needed to pull those empty wine bottles back out, fill them with raspberry juice again, because the character pours a cranberry, cran ras, whatever. And then they need to be empty and laying on the table later. It's very specific what happens with these little props. And I was adamant that I am no longer a student, and I was not making a student film.
Right.
And it needed to be price-wise, we didn't have enough to be able to, money-wise, we didn't have enough to be able to hire and do all these things. But I needed to make the production as professional as possible within my means. And those details that I could manage needed to be managed because I really was adamant about it being good. And there's nothing wrong with student films. Everybody starts somewhere.
Of course.
However, I've done student films in the past.
Yeah.
And I already have films that I've done that have progressed past that. So I'm at the point where it's like, no, if I'm going to put out a web series, it needs to not be a student web series. Are we picking? I hear I hear dog scratching on a door. Dog could be let out, but I think the dog got himself locked in a bedroom. And I think he hears somebody else and wants out. That aside, though, we did deal with dogs a lot on set, as we are now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And these things, these realizations of like, Sebastian, go to the store. We gotta get cranberry juice. And then shooting it again and go get the same brand, like
right, because at first you guys thought you guys need
things
to drink cranberry. Okay, we'll bring each a drink of cranberry, and then we're like, we have to fill the wine bottles. Go back,
we
get
need
big
more
bottles. We need more.
Yeah, and those things. It's like, wow, because on my first student film, I have all my people ready. I got to set much early, way before everyone else, and we're shooting a birthday. Yeah, who got the cake? Oh yeah, we have to have a cake. There's a whole scene with a cake. Where's the cake? Oh no, that's on me. Like, I had to go to the store and go get the birthday cake minutes before my cast started showing up, because I personally, this is completely on me, I didn't think that through completely. I was like, oh, I'd written it down. Yep, birthday scene, he's going to blow out the candles. Where's the cake and candles? Who's getting that? Right. That's too small. That's not going to show up. That's not what we need. These things of like, talking to the guy at Albertsons. oh, well, I'm asking, what's the most generic birthday cake you have? And he goes, well, is it vanilla or chocolate? I go, no. This is for camera, right? It doesn't matter what flavor. Just get me what looks the best. And he goes, well, I've got this one. I'm like, perfect. Those things that I'm like, oh my gosh. Those small props, those detailed props that are one-time prop. You take a bite out of a cake. It doesn't look like
so
a cake
that's the
anymore.
other thing people need to know. If you're going to shoot cutting a cake, biting a cake, that's why we had 5 chickens, because we were shooting us taking it apart, cutting off of it. I had to be able to have a whole chicken again.
Right.
In case the shot that one time didn't do it, or in case we needed to show a whole chicken again later, whatever. So it turns into this whole ordeal. When you have small consumable props, you need to have a lot of them in identical look so that you can replace them and reshoot. Because great if you get something in one shot. I'm not the director, but as the producer, even if it was perfect in number 1, I say you go for number 2.
Safety.
I say there's a safety.
Mm-hmm.
I
Always.
really do. And so I think that it's important to realize also sometimes you'll cut the cake and then somebody will go, oh, the batteries ran out of the boom. Or, oh, that light blew out in the middle of it and the lighting changed. Oh, I cut the cake and somebody sneezes. Whatever. And so it's like, I think that you have to make sure that you have multiple of consumable props. You do. And I'll tell you the way we did it. First of all, my writing partner likes to write in Highland. So we write in Highland. I prefer Final Draft. It is industry standard for most people. They write in industry, but a lot of people do write in Highland now. It was created by John August, one of the biggest writers out there right now. My thing is that she prefers the free version of Highland. She doesn't think that there's that much more in the paid version. So we're writing in the free version of Highland, sending it back and forth. It's not you're not writing in teams,
right?
Whereas like with Final Draft, I have a paid version, but she would need to have a paid version too. So
to collaborate,
and she did not want to. She doesn't think it's worth it. That she thought that she didn't think it worked as well or whatever. I personally like the way when I return in Final Draft. Yeah. It's faster for me. Yeah, I feel like I have to take more clicks or steps in Highland. That's my own personal choice. I think they're both good writing programs. The other thing with Final Draft is I can hit props, I can hit whatever, and it generates a report.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that in the free version of Highland. It might be in the paid version. I didn't notice. What I did was I took the free version of Highland and dumped it into Studio Binder.
Gotcha.
Studio Binder allowed me to do props and stuff. Studio Binder, though, has function issues, in my opinion, too.
Totally.
So it's not as great as it could be. I think, though, obviously, for somebody building a software to add all these different little things. I noticed that we put in a couple complaints about things into Studio Binder at the beginning of our planning stages. And I was on Studio Binder the other day, and I noticed Studio Binder fixed them. So you used to not be able to drag and drop the scenes in your...
I remember this pre-production.
And you'd have to cut and move the whole scene. But then when you moved it, the day break... So I'm talking about in order to create call sheets on the strip board.
Yep.
And the whole day break would be messed up. It wouldn't add the new scenes. It was just a disaster. And then you'd have to cut out that day break and put new ones in. And it was really hard to move the scenes. Now you can drag and drop a scene, and when you drag it up into another, it pushes that day break down by that 1 or 2, whatever, and adds them into that day.
Gosh.
And so if you want to remove stuff out of that day break, it removes the total of scenes in the day. So they fixed it after we sent in a complaint. So who knows? Maybe we weren't definitely. I mean, I'm sure it's my power. No, I don't know why they did it, but if they had enough complaints or if it was already on the back burner of something they were working on.
I loved those call sheets.
I do like a Studio Binder call sheet, and I love that it texts people.
It texts you.
Yes.
It emails you.
Yes.
It was fantastic for people, you know, in this modern day, constantly on their phone. It was like, oh, I could have been anywhere, and I can, you know, I can confirm my call time.
Right.
You know, and that was another thing I liked. Is like you could just send out a call sheet and no one's going to respond, but this one you had to confirm, and you on the, you know, administrative side of it could see who confirmed their call time, who's like seen this, who hasn't. I really love that.
Right.
That is something I will be taking into the future into different projects.
I mean, I want to create my own studio binder that's a little more what I want it to be, user friendly. It's a challenging app, and it glitches a lot. So like if you don't refresh your page after moving stuff around, sometimes it's not like, so let's say I change stuff on the call sheet and in front of me it looks like it's changed, and then I download it. Sometimes it has the old version and the changes.
Oh, what the
multiple heck? So you have to refresh the page and stuff. So it has its glitches. Nothing against Studio Binder. I think that the person who created it had a good plan in mind. I've never myself worked in movie magic. I've worked with directors who do movie magic and send their call sheets out with that, and I've received movie magic call sheets. I've not worked in it. I've never owned movie magic, so I don't know if that is. I'm assuming it's comparable, but for some reason, somebody in the industry, because the people who got together and did Studio Binder, one of them is an industry professional in Hollywood. And I think they all were to a point. Yeah. So, but anyways, that being said, in Final Draft, so even though I wrote in Highland and then I made everything in PDF for actors to read, I also made it all in Final Draft. I would copy the scripts into Final Draft. Then we were able to print up our prop sheets. But Studio Binder allows prop sheets too. My issue with Studio Binder is it can't find a prop the way Final Draft does. So you have to highlight them.
Oh, interesting.
And so you have to go through and manually work on highlighting your props and putting them in as an element. You have to go through your whole script and find elements, not just props, but other elements, so that it can generate that information for you into reports. Totally. So one of the reports you should have is a prop report. But there's a way to do this if you don't want to do any of that. You could read your own script and type it out into a Word doc or handwrite it onto a piece of paper and hand it to somebody and say, we need all these props. This is what we're shooting today. All these props belong on this. Renata, when she would make her call sheets, she would put the props on her call sheets. Hers were not Studio Binder. But she'd email them to people, and I would have to call people and say, did you see your call sheet?
Yeah, that was the one thing that I really liked in that texting aspect.
I love that.
Right.
I also like the look of their call sheet.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was nice.
The colors
I was able to put
click your green button.
And I put my logo in it and all of that.
Yeah. It felt very, very fun and very professional. It was cool. You have your locations. Yeah. And you could click on the location and it'll take you to your directions app. That was super cool too.
Dude, I never did that. Really?
Like, you know how you can click on an address and it'll give you the directions for it?
Yeah.
Boom.
From
Where am I going?
Binder.
Burbank? Boom. Could go.
Nice.
That's where I would go. That's how I would do it, right? And that's what I used. That was awesome.
So episode
lot to learn with episode 7.
Well, yes. So eventually we had to also, Kate burned the dinner that night. That's why the dinner never shows up on the table.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And
she starts the oven late, right?
Right.
She forgets.
She forgets. So then she does finally start the oven and then
leaves.
Leaves, but never turns the timer on. And then comes back and the husband's like, I was listening for the ding, and the ding never dinged. And so then it's burnt. Yes, dinner's burnt. I really hate giving away too much details. I should have said spoiler and said, go watch the episode. But anyways, there was just the burning dinner is actually filmed at some point, a version of it, of her discovering it's burnt. And there was a lot of discussion as to how you were going to get that smoke. And the director kept feeling that we should just make hot spaghetti and get the steam. And I'm like, you're never going to, like, I'd have to make a buttload of spaghetti and keep it so hot. By the time we walk in, how are we doing that? We ultimately came up with, we are going to light paper on fire inside a pot and put the pot in the oven. And you're going to see smoke. So we did have live fire on set. And we will talk you will hear Peter talk about that in another episode here, who did or maybe you'll see it in this episode too. We'll see.
Yeah.
I say, yeah, maybe you'll hear about Peter next.
Yeah.
In an interview. So there was definitely a very interesting element we had to deal with, and it was pretty exciting and fun.
It was fun.
It was lots of fun.
It filled the room.
It got very smoky.
Yeah, it did.
And it did the most cool thing. So it started seeping out of the oven door, and there's like this little vent area where things can cool down, and the steam, like the regular vent for the oven where it cools, and the smoke started seeping its way out of that, and I think it was a pretty dark shoot. Like it was, the kitchen wasn't supposed to be well lit.
Yeah.
So, because we were doing some other aspects. So, that was interesting. But I would say props and how this episode had to be shot. Oh, there was also a lot of phone calls in this episode. And I feel like we could dedicate an episode on how to shoot the phone. Because Kate has a son and a best friend that both live abroad. And so they often WhatsApp or FaceTime her, video call her, or they text her. And it's part of the pressures leading to Kate wanting to go back to Paris and be in Europe. And so these calls aren't for nothing. Yeah, they mean something to the character. And there's plenty of them that happen during the dinner. And so there's all that.
We should talk about that.
Let's shoot how are we going to shoot the phone? Which hand were you picking it up with while you were here? Now we're shooting it over your shoulder. Make sure it's in the right hand. Oh, clean the phone off. It's too much glare. Could turn the light down on your phone. Oh, we need Michael Evans, the son, to call, not the actor, David Liam. Oh, but he's also actually lives in Paris. It's 9 hours difference. How are we going to do that? We're going to take Sebastian's contact and put David's face on it and put the name tag Michael Evans and put him in WhatsApp that way. And Sebastian's going to have to live with his WhatsApp contact with David's face and name on it David's face and the character's name on it for 3 months.
For 3 months. Every time I would call you.
Yeah. You were Michael Evans.
I would be Michael Evans.
Yeah, for 3 months in my contacts, because my contacts are listed into my WhatsApp. That's your WhatsApp picture and your contacts picture. Yeah, that was both funny. Had to be changed.
Because we had a moment where it was like, just text me it, and you couldn't find my name in your phone.
No, I couldn't find Sebastian.
And it was like 10
anymore.
minutes, and then it was
like,
oh,
you're Michael.
Right?
You're Michael.
Yeah, that
you're
was
Michael.
Fun.
Yeah, so we had a lot of that going on in this episode, and there's still
logistically, this was a heavy episode.
This is another thing where we have one little thing I'd like to shoot. And because as of the recording of this podcast, we have not actually edited the episode 7.
Right.
But as of the listening to this podcast, you are going to see it. There's still one little thing I'd like to go shoot.
Okay. Well, we'll shoot it.
We'll shoot it.
Absolutely.
I think we can.
Yeah. I think it was a fantastic episode, and a lot went into it. This was a high stress at times, but we got through.
Yeah. This is the episode where the actor didn't understand a piece of dialogue.
Yep, we changed on the fly.
We changed it on the fly because he thought the joke meant something else. We're like, that's not how we wrote the joke. And I just listened to what he was saying and how he was delivering either joke. And I went, it's better to go with him because regardless of whether I wrote the joke or not, he's doing a better job at giving the joke he thinks it is. Right. And it was still a joke.
And it was funny.
And it was, how do you say coq au vin?
I remember this very, very well.
Right.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. So watch the episode so that you'll
watch the episode, and yeah.
And then we'll see you back here.
We'll see you back here for our next podcast.
Right, which will be us discussing episode 8. But you really should watch episode 8 before you come to the podcast.
Yes, before you listen or watch the podcast, watch the actual series episode that is related to it. You will get more from our podcast. You'll understand what we're talking about and the moments associated. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
That's right. See you later.
All right. Ciao.
Ciao. Hey, everybody, it's Laura again with C'est La Vie, the podcast, your podcast on everything about making C'est La Vie, the series. And I am here now to interview a friend as well as a fellow Strike Line companion, as well as the multi-versed set worker, Peter.
Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging all the many activities and credits we need to do. But as we know, on like low budget, get it done productions, you have to do a lot of things to make it happen, and you have to work magic wherever the magic is needed. So I was really happy to be able to do that in whichever way I could.
So this is interesting how you came about on this thing. Is that, well, first of all, we met on the Strike Line.
Yes.
But we didn't really get to know each other too well, but we had seen each other a few times. You did the great thing with the frog head.
Oh, yeah.
So if anybody has seen like even videos I posted with you dancing around with the frog head on, that's Peter under there.
Well,
yeah, it's had to be hot.
It was pretty brutal. So I had this idea like, I'm going to dress up like one of them. I'm going to be Lizard Man CEO. I'm going to wave some money around and taunt the strikers. You know, that was going to be like the piece, if you will. So I found this like reptilian lizard head and this like polyester suit, and I went out and of course I was there with Evan, the DJ,
right?
Everyman, and so he was bumping the tunes. So the only thing that we could do was,
we'll link him here
for sure. The only thing you could do was dance, and it really was such a powerful force on that Strike Line. The energy that Strike Line had to have him mixing music, doing his own mixes, and intercutting it with news and all. There was such a, the West Coast term would be vibe. There was a vibe to it. So I was like, I'm gonna be this lizard guy, and then. Yeah, and then, of course, I hear from one of the other captains, like, hey, did you hear Thursday is formal dress day? And I'm like, I was going to be the one guy in the suit, but it didn't matter. It was still perfect. And then it happened to be that day that the lunch was sponsored by Patton Oswalt, who's a big fan of pretzels, as we all know. So it was Shappy's Soft Pretzels, and a fellow Philadelphian. And there I was dancing my heart out. I could not breathe. I could not. It was completely hot. I was just sweating inside of this lizard mask, and I'm dancing on the corner to Tears for Fears. And then later in the day, I'm like flipping through Instagram, and on the last slide of like Patton Oswalt's thing was like just me like
dancing away,
locking, like in the zone. He was there right at the right time, and that made me really happy. And of course, Francis Fisher beat me up as well when I was dressed as the lizard.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that was fun. But that's how we met. And then I also met Nawoko.
Yes.
And Nawoko's a photographer, and she had come to Hollywood hoping to do some BTS photography and ended up walking into a strike. And so what she decided to do was take Strike Line photography. And at that time, I really didn't meet her until the very end. And she said, I really want to do BTS. And I said, well, I am actually going to be starting a shoot. We just finished writing it. And I'm happy to let you shoot if you want to come get some experience on set. And so Nawoko flew into town, did some beautiful photography. Somebody else just talked about her today, about how wonderful it was to have her. She was such a highlight on set. And she arrived and contacted you. You picked her up from the airport. So when she came to meet with me, you happened to be with her. And I was like, Peter, do you want to come? And be on set? Do you want to help? We'll find something for you, whatever you want to do. And you came, and you were our everyman. I think you tried different stuff all the time.
Yeah, well, it's like any kind of corner where it's like looking vacant and something needs to happen and to get the picture done. I mean, the first day, I think it was the first day, you're like, and I something inside, I just knew it. I was like, I better like dress a certain way. And then you were like, are you going to be on camera today? Yeah. And I'm like, sure. Yep. Whatever you need.
And that's what the first thing you did was, because we didn't really need too much set help that day.
Yeah.
We moved a few things around, but other than that, we were like, no, we need people to be in this scene and do a little kind of glorified extra, I guess you'd call it. Like
Yeah.
you had a
Is it okay to say
part.
what happened, or this
can
follows the release of the episode, right?
This follows the release of every episode. Your interviews will be tagged onto different episodes.
Okay,
so,
good.
so this should
as
be
long
fine.
as it's following the episode, I just wanted to say, because I mean the very first task you gave me was to convincingly walk through you.
And ignore me.
That's why through. It's not like into, because in our reality of the episode that you just watched now, nobody can see you. So
Right.
I'm just like power walking my middle-aged white guy power walk through the park as we do. And you're just invisible. So we did like probably, I don't know, 6 to 8 slams, I think, which of course you were handled very athletically, I might add. You know, it was perfect. Like at no point was I worried about injuring or crumpling you. You did your own stunts and you did them really well. And
Well, I was
fun.
stepping out of your hit every time.
No, it was.
So I knew it was coming, and it looked like you were slamming into. You were bumping me, but I kept the pressure off by turning.
It was it was a good dance.
Yeah, it worked really well.
Yeah, it worked really well. You did a great job, and it was fun. Yeah, so it was like I knew that we'd be in for good fun. With starting with something different and comedic and physical. I was like, this is good.
So that was our episode called Say Kate's Invisibility, and that was episode 9. And that's because Kate feels invisible. It's so funny. I was just listening to a podcast yesterday. I started listening to Julia Louis-Dreyfus's podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Where she speaks to older women. And one of the first things she says is, you get to a certain age and you're invisible.
Yeah.
The world starts disregarding you.
Yeah, yeah.
And so she is purposefully interviewing women older than her to ask for advice, ask for their opinion, ask for their thoughts on getting older, all these different things, because she says there's a lot of wisdom and she feels like the world ignores it. So I thought that was interesting that I heard that. It's been, I wrote this because a couple years ago when I started really putting down pen to paper for Kate and creating this character and all of these things, really was one of the things I kept saying. I suddenly feel invisible. I got to a certain age and I feel invisible. And I remember my French friend, he was like, oh, no, that's not true. You're not invisible. And I'm like, you don't know, though. You don't know what it feels like to be a woman and to know the difference between when you would walk through the world at a certain age and then what happens when you walk through the world later. And I said, it's a big change. It's a literal, you feel the change. So even though not every person is finding you invisible, a big chunk of the world does, and you kind of just disappear into the woodwork.
It's got to be quite a shock.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's you can feel it. It's palpable.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring that in a comedic way.
Of course.
That idea, that feeling in a comedic way.
I mean, comedy is the way.
It is.
It's a great teacher. It's a great way to, like, comedy. You can use it to teach anything because you can bring. It's inviting. It brings people's guards down, and you can explore like things that are difficult or dark or upsetting. And I mean, comedy is a way to bring those ideas into people's minds in a way that isn't necessarily, it's not like an assault or meant to hurt. It's like a way for us to process difficult things.
It is
in the world. So I'm all for it.
And a good laugh is good for us.
Oh my God, it's the best thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So so that was your first day.
Yeah.
And then we filmed here in LA, and I don't think you were on set here. You were busy that weekend, right?
No, I was here for one of the days. I mean, it might have been a couple of the days, because I definitely loaded equipment in and out of this location.
Oh, then maybe you were here. Maybe that wasn't the weekend you were gone. So that was the weekend we shot the doctor scene.
Yeah.
And Max was here.
Yes. So I missed that one where Max was here. I was here. There was like another weekend when we were here at this office, because you had the kitchen scene with the chef, I think.
That was the next day.
Yeah, so I was there that day. Yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah. So we did the funny
The dream sequence. The dream sequence. Yeah. I remember I remember the setups were great.
So you were here that day and you were set help.
Yes.
PA.
Yep. Well, I basically made it since I was extra hands or like needing to be magic, and you had a very small crew, knew each other really well, and I was there to assist. I took the philosophy of like, I'm not going to try to insert myself anywhere or anticipate what anybody wants because I don't really know these guys. So like I feel like it's probably not appropriate to just jump in anywhere just yet. However, at the moment I hear my name, I'm going to be right up in their face like a little, army private or something.
Yeah.
Just like, what do we need? And then do it. And just try to just mostly stay invisible. The other days where we were up to more and like a varied and exciting things, then I could be pretty well occupied all day. But if I was just here, I just tried to stay out of the way, but be immediately available when needed.
Right. And that's right. I do remember you here that day because we have a great picture of you and Renata ate lunch in the other office. We were sitting in the office.
Right.
Nooka took a great picture of you
did?
guys.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Yeah, she said, tell me your story. So
she did.
Yeah, she
and
did. I went in
and
I told her whatever story I had of me. She said, tell me your story. So I did, and we had lunch.
Oh, nice.
It was cool. Yeah, it was neat. She was great to talk to, and I can see she's a very imaginative person based on our conversations. So good choice for directing.
Yeah, and she's got a lot of skill for detail.
Yeah,
and making sure everything is in place, all the details.
Yeah, not easy.
No, it's hard. It's hard. This shoot had so much going on. We did so much.
Yeah, well, you were shooting a series with a lot of cast.
Yeah,
it was complicated.
Yeah.
It was complicated.
Yeah,
I remember like so many times it was so difficult because everybody's trying to keep track of continuity and like making sure that everything that needs to be shot is shot, and it's like asking 3 different people to solve the same puzzle, but they all have different jobs to do at the same time. It's so tricky. Like it's a high order. Or a tall order of a challenge. And it was impressive. You guys really did a good job, and all of you kept your cool and like trying to solve this and getting it done and getting things shot. It was great to see.
That's good. I mean, some days felt like there was definite pressure. Every once in a while we had things like we had the day where the rain just poured in the morning, and we had things that we couldn't control, like airplane noise or some other thing happening. We got pushed back one day and we shot a scene that had an integral piece of prop, and that prop gets destroyed, and then we had to go back and had to ask you to come and make the prop for us and build it again because we were like, we didn't quite get the shot because we were rushed at the end. I mean, the crew already had out time and they were ready to go.
No, I remember that. If you want to go there now, I mean, I remember too the feeling we had at that point was like the whole day had been leading up to like we're gonna break something, and so the day went long and we're all just like tired and have been. It's funny when you're mentally tired at the end of like problem solving all day long. It's different than doing something physical all day and being exhausted. Right. It's like when you're mentally tired, it's like you have to get to sleep. You have to you need to get to a bed and just rest, because once the mind is taxed, like your body follows. It's like it's another thing if your body's tired, you can like muscle through if your brain still works. But when your brain gets down there after a long day like that, we're just like must smash this. So we were just like, well, we're not going to put this off. We have to do it. And we all sort of like all collectively and subconsciously decided we're going to smash this thing. So even though I think if any of us were like less tired, we would have just been like, wait a minute, like this is crazy. We're just doing this for the sake of doing it. Let's save it, But
well, and I think the other problem was that that was we hadn't had the other directors scheduled yet.
Right.
So this is a long story that is probably in, the episode where we're talking to Renata. But in reality, when we started this shoot, we were originally going to have different directors for every episode.
Okay.
But then we got concerned about, wanting to get the timing down, and where would we started reaching out to other people who were like, I could fit this day in my schedule, but not this day. And so Renata was like, I can do it. I have this amount of time. And so we had made a decision. Okay, let's just have Renata do the whole thing. But then what ended up happening because of rain, because even like we ended up starting a week late. That day at the park was a week behind.
I see.
Because it had rained the week before.
Yeah.
Like all this stuff started happening, and her hard out date was that day.
Oh wow!
She was not coming back. That was the last day she was there.
Brutal.
So what happened was we had to organize ourselves, knowing that we needed to shoot some other stuff. And in reality, you're right. A deep breath and some thought process would have told us, wait completely on this whole part of this episode, this whole nighttime scene of this episode. Don't even shoot any of the stuff going on. Let's do it another day.
As a whole cohesive scene, just save it for
another director.
We'll get it.
And we ended up reshooting it anyway.
Exactly.
With another director, and not because we had a problem with Renata as the director.
No,
it's because she was gone.
Yeah.
We had to bring another director on for some other stuff. That director directed us through the whole end differently, with her style of the shots she wanted. Still the same story, still the same thing. But so we ended up doing it again. But what it required was this prop was quite intricate, and so you built it. And we had. The second time, though, we had a little bit of a smarter idea to build it in pieces and make it so that we could collectively put the pieces together until it was one big Eiffel Tower. And
we had on the second one, we had like 4 legs had started, so I was able to complete that. And then the way the instructions from Temu Lego have you do it is you build this thing up, you get to a certain point, you put that aside, and then they have you begin on the top half, and then you do the same thing. So the head start on the second one wasn't so much because you do it in the 2 halves just per the instructions, but there were already some legs had begun, which actually covered a lot because the base that it sits on is this big square Lego thing, and you have to lay out a whole floor for it, and so that actually saved a pretty good amount of time. But I mean, just by then, I had the chops down. So I'm going to tell the viewing audience about Temu Lego. So
it's not really Lego. It's just Temu bricks or something.
So, yeah, I shouldn't even say. You probably have to beep Lego when I say Lego. So play bricks. Temu play bricks are very small. And to try to assemble this Eiffel Tower model by hand was proving to be very, very difficult. So... and I think you still have the time-lapse footage of this, so maybe as a bonus you'll see it. But I had to basically use two sets of pliers, one flat, one bent, and with those as my mechanical hands, I was able to build this thing. And it actually, the second time, it just worked really well because I was able to become one with the instructions, which are not as good as Swedish block toy. But they are, after doing it once, I was able to do it much faster the next time. Yeah,
it was quite a lot of work.
It was. It was a lot of focused work, but it was. I mean, it's the kind of work that at times is really nice because you can. It's like kind of a binary task. Like the thing is either built or it's either complete or not. And there's only one direction you can go to finishing doing it. So it's like video games or certain video games for me where it's like. I can actually really tune out the rest of the world. I can just go into my own little space with music and just build the model. And it's actually fairly meditative. But it was the perfect task for me. If you don't like that kind of thing, if you want a block challenge, Temu Eiffel Tower for like $23. The Swedish block version is like $700 bucks, so probably
Bigger
prohibitive.
pieces, it gets large. It
Ends up larger. It ends up larger. I'm sure it's nice.
I do believe that yes, the bottom was, so you finished the bottom, you rebuilt the top again. We had it so we could layer those pieces together, and then we also still had a couple other half pieces around that we kind of like. This was the dance when we filmed it. Fitz filmed it, and we were like, okay, so we literally sat there with the crew and the actors and said, okay, this piece comes in. Then after that piece comes in, it flies out, and this piece comes in. Fitz had it so organized on how we were going to get the pieces in and out, so it made sense. And that's what was missing from that first shoot that night. And again, it was only because we were in a hurry, and we ended up like showing it like just pieces, and then almost like we were trying to time lapse to it finish.
No, that was perfect. See, you had someone who had the mind for the continuity of this like important prop,
right?
And it just helps when you have such a small group. It's really hard for everything to be kept track of because there's only so much mental processing power,
and you're trying to keep track of so many things.
Yeah, it's a challenge. So, but I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah,
I'm glad it worked out with Temu Lego.
Temu building blocks. Okay, so that is one of the tasks you did, but in episode 7, we needed, and that, by the way, is the dream sequence that we shot here that day.
Oh yeah.
So, but prior to Kate having that dream, she burns the dinner.
Right. The roast. No.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when she burns the dinner, we were like, how are we going to show the dinner burning? Like, what are we going to do?
It's a tricky question. Yeah.
And we hadn't figured it out before coming to set. Now, that's not to say we didn't think about it. We literally tried to be as detailed as possible all through this shoot. In pre-production, we really tried to put the pieces down. Renata had an idea in making pasta one night. The steam that comes off of pasta is really visible. But I felt like, I don't know how, you can't keep it long enough.
Right. It's just like that one
moment
burst, right?
Right. And we were trying to take it from the pan into the oven. Then we were going to try to open the oven and the steam still be there. I didn't think it would be there. We were like, we don't think this hot pasta thing's going to work.
Yeah, because the steam, it'll just all condense onto the top, the ceiling of the oven.
Right.
Or otherwise be not, it won't be voluminous. Not enough of it to
voluminous
see it.
Or voluminous?
Voluminous.
Voluminous. I think this is right. Voluminous. That sounds right.
Yeah.
It won't create enough volume.
Right.
Big enough.
Of particles. So
right.
we decided like, well, we're going to need smoke.
Yes. And once we decided we needed smoke, a lot of ideas were coming about on how we could make smoke. And really the only idea that stuck was, I think I said, we have to light paper on fire in something. Mm-hmm. And then it was tasked
I thought it was was it your idea?
It was my idea to light the paper on fire.
I thought that was my idea.
But
I could have sworn that was my idea.
We tasked it to you to figure out how we do it. And you said we put it in a pot.
Yes.
And we light it on fire in the pot so that we can use the pot lid to extinguish it.
Yep. You let it burn for a little while so that we'd have a lot of like charred material and then smother the thing.
Right, because I was just going to light paper on fire.
Yeah, and then it'll just smolder and burn very, very slowly whatever oxygen remained in the pot and then whatever could seep in so that once that lid opened up, it would hang out it would be enough to generate for a little while, like a couple minutes.
See, and I did not know. So I thought my idea was we just light paper on fire in a pan in there. We just light it on fire.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just get real. My oven's already broke. It doesn't work.
Oh.
So my oven doesn't work.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
It won't. It won't turn on anymore.
So even if you wanted to try to do an effect where you had like some kind of, I don't know, pulpy newspaper or something, and wet it up and put it in the oven, that would not have. It didn't. The oven was non-functional.
The oven's non-functional.
Oh, okay.
So we were gonna put it. I was thinking I was just gonna put a pan in there and light some paper on fire.
Yeah.
But you totally understood about the oxygen and the lid, and it needed to be in a pot, and you knew how you lit it outside, brought it in and placed it in the oven. We rolled.
Yep.
I don't remember. Did you take the lid off while it was in the oven?
Yeah, so how it went was I let it smolder for a couple minutes, brought it inside with the lid on top, and then you rolled camera, and then the very last thing that I did was take the lid off of it and then close the oven door so that whatever volume of smoke we had would stay in the oven, and then immediately called action as soon as I was out of frame, and then you could run in. And I didn't see the footage, so I don't know if it
Oh my God.
it worked.
So where the door is.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to let you see the footage. It's
Yeah, I'd be
on a
curious
big
to see
heavy file right now, so we'll
Sure.
have to. But so where the door is, because it has vents, ovens have vents. The smoke started seeping up out of the vent and round.
And it was lit?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, awesome.
And then while it was in there, once you remove the lid, it regained its fire. So then the paper was starting to burn again.
Yeah,
So it was all,
yeah.
and we opened the oven, which I think gave it more oxygen.
Right.
So smoke came out. We shut it in the scene.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. When we went to, you don't remember this, when we went to end it and we opened the oven, the paper was got lit back on fire because of the oxygen. And I think you had to
put the lid back on,
take it outside and douse it with water.
Yeah. Yes, no, I immediately ran it out, and I remember I gave this, as if I were qualified for this, but I gave a safety meeting so that everybody knew what we were up to, because
Right.
I just didn't want if something were to, or just what if something everybody just knows what we're up to, so that there aren't any surprises. Because even a small situation of something not that bad happening, if it surprises someone, they can make it worse, or it can get worse for them. So,
Right. Well, and we had to make sure everybody understood it was going to get smoky.
Right.
Like we were going to open the windows and everything as soon as we were done, but they were going to inhale smoke or need to put a mask on or something.
Yeah,
and
just
they
something-
could have. And what I found interesting was that that the crew did the opposite of disperse so that they'd be out of the smoke. They got as close to the frame and as they could with not being in the picture to watch.
Oh, because it was it was fun and exciting.
Right.
Yeah, it was because it was special
and it was
effects
late
time.
at night. It was our last shot.
Right. Yeah. Well, it was pyrotechnic time, so
Yeah.
of course you want to be there for that.
Yeah.
And I like how you say like you knew about that. Like I just like to play with fire.
Oh,
So
that's the reality.
yeah, but I've done it. I've spent like 10 plus years as a glass blower and been around fire for a long while, so I know.
You knew what it was gonna do, basically.
Yeah, I roughly knew. Like actually, one of the tools you use in that craft and practice is wet newspaper to help like mold what you're up to creating. So
Interesting. I have to say, isn't it odd that at the last minute you were added to this set, but then exactly what we needed for that.
Sometimes it works out.
Like that you had worked with fire before. And the safety meeting wasn't always just off the cuff either. You had done, like in your previous work, you had done
lectures. Yeah, I've done lectures on various topics. So.
Right, so you kind of understood how to give us a safety meeting and explain, hey guys, and by doing that, everybody then was fully aware of what was going to happen in the space.
Yeah, it helps. It helps. Doing group communication, I've got a lot of practice with it in different realms. Both, usually all in teaching, some in corporate, but it's all teaching related. And that's really what public speaking is. Even if it's like trying to give a heartfelt speech of whatever, you're still practiced in like effective communication, which is communicating your ideas well, which to me, that's what good teaching is. I wanted to make sure that everybody was on the same page, feeling confident, no anxiety, no worries about it, and it sounds like it looks good in the end, and that's the
I think
whole
so. We haven't
thing.
cut together that episode yet. By the time this
Yeah.
by the time people hear this on the podcast, this episode will have dropped, and this will be in the after the show podcast. So
Yes.
it
I
will have
hope
dropped,
you
but
enjoyed it.
I know, really. And if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. And
if you have watched it, go back and watch it again now that you know.
exactly
What
that's
we just said.
Then you go back and you look for the Easter eggs.
Yes, and well now you'll say, my God, the context I now have has completely reframed the effect I'm seeing. That's what you'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. So that's just a number of the different things you did, and then of course you were on set many days, even just helping corral the actors. You did BTS photography one day that when Naoko wasn't there. You did some just like you said, hands-on, waiting for somebody to say, "Hey, Peter, we need this." So you kind of did a little bit of everything.
Yeah, just want to support. I want to support independent storytelling.
Yeah.
Support independent arts, filmmaking. Part of the reason we were on that strike line, and I'm new to acting. I'm not even necessarily a working actor. Can't really say that, but I believe in what we were fighting for out there, and there's a lot of scary stuff going on in the business right now. And we've said that in various generations before, like when 3D effects came along and computer effects in the 90s, and everyone's like, oh my God. And then when I was in film school, it was digital is replacing film.
Yeah.
God. And I think I may have even been one of the people who's like, you can only shoot on film, man. Wait, hang on.
Okay, but I can't wait till the day I shoot on film.
You can only shoot on film. Can't shoot on this digital sensors, man, because that's not life, man. That's not organic. And there was that argument, and then we all saw what happened there. There's like two people, like Christopher Nolan and Tarantino, shoot on film.
Nope, Spielberg and Scorsese
Okay.
and Coppola. They all
right.
purchase a certain amount of film from a film company.
Yeah, so like
So in other words, you have to be really wealthy.
like the most successful boomer directors who can afford it.
Right.
Yes.
You can't afford film.
I could afford like a few minutes of 16 millimeter, but I can't afford to do like a feature on 35. Nor are there a lot of people who have the knowledge to like light for film, because it's a whole different game.
On top of it, when you shoot and film, there's no video village.
Well, it's not going to be exact.
No. You're not able
to.
You kind of, or you might have somebody on a video following, but in reality, what's ending up in the film is not viewable to you.
No.
As you're filming. So there's that. There's playback. You can roll it back.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. You can roll it back. But there are these major directors. I had heard this just recently this year, that when that big film company was going to go out and said, listen, we don't sell enough film to keep making film, all these big directors said, we promise we'll buy this much film from you a year.
Yeah.
And I think they're keeping them in, and I feel like they're in not the Midwest, they're more like, feel like it's further than the Midwest. I feel like they're like in the Carolinas or the Tennessee or something, like, I don't know. They're somewhere, and they buy the film from them. But it's not even just the cost of shooting on the film. It's the cost of developing the film. And editing's a different process.
It's a whole nightmare. And it's like most of your delivery platforms are going to be digital anyway. So what you're going to shoot on film so that you can scan it and
digitize it.
And digitize it anyway. And you don't have to put it back on film to screen it in theaters anymore, because the theaters are all digital projections. So, really, home market and even the theater market, unless you did, like I saw when I did Oppenheimer in the summer, it was like screening on 70 millimeter back in, it was one of the last movies I saw back in Philadelphia. And it was like a big to-do, but it was one day, or like they only had the film version for like a short engagement, and then it was all digital after that.
I was under the assumption that if they're shooting on film, that they must still have theaters that are running it on
some of them
projection.
Yeah, some of them do maintain like a showing
film projection.
Of 70 millimeter.
Nice. Well,
yeah, it's fun.
I think that it would be nice to keep it available, and then you have the option to do, depending on your budget, to do whatever you feel like, because I'd like to try and shoot with films.
No, it's fun. I remember getting to shoot on not 35 but 16 in school. It was magical. And then one of the other big clients for it is NFL Films. I don't know if it's still the case, but a few years ago, still after the digital transition, it was like, no, NFL Films still buying a lot of film so that they can shoot their sideline football stuff, and it looks gorgeous, super slow-mo. But it was getting away from the point, which was on the strike line. We were fighting against the newest wave of tech, of the Silicon Valley tech bros wanting to profit and take over in Hollywood, which is of course generative AI, which is a tool that I already hear of people using. I came here with intentions of voice acting, and I can still do it for myself. That's the most fun. But paid voice work could see a threat from generative voices. And two, I have heard tale of areas, especially in pre-production, where like storyboard artists and concept artists and people where you'd want like a sketch or a painting or a poster or something, and it's like AI can really fill in those shoes at a way lower cost, and it's not going to go away. Is the problem that rules were won by the strike, which is great. But like the fact is, I'm hearing of it in use, and then I'm also seeing it in the software. Like the newest update of Adobe Premiere, it's just like you can.
There's a bunch of AI in it.
Yeah, you can just use the lasso tool and be like, highlight part of your frame, and it'll animate it. And you're like, put a flower there, put an alligator there, fill this in with water or whatever prompt you give it, and it'll go into its bank of stolen goods and generate it for you.
I think the problem though with that is that what people think is that yes, it will do that, but it will only do that to a point. So if you say put in a flower, it's only going to put in the flowers it knows how to put in or whatever.
Yeah.
So you still aren't getting your personalized art. It only has so much database.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're saying none of the AI is smart enough yet.
No, it's all a total sham.
Right. So,
yeah.
But people, the thing about actors saying they don't want them to use AI in film. So you can't ask new technology to not be used. That's like back when the talkies came in. We want to keep our film. It's easier to do silent film. Let's not do talkies.
And that put out of work, I imagine, a ton of musicians playing the piano next to a movie screen.
Yeah, probably.
And I think that's what we should go back to.
I feel like those people, hey, Ashley would be down making films like that with you. But here's the thing. There's people like you and her and other people who still want to make a film like that. And you can.
Yeah.
Because of digital.
I know. It's pretty
I
cool.
wouldn't have been able to afford this shoot if I had to shoot on film.
Oh, it'd be crazy.
There's no way. So, I mean, maybe film
crazy.
costs would be lower, as the years go on. But still, bottom line is, I don't think I could have pulled it off without having a digital camera. So, and just even the footage transfer and the availability to edit quickly and all of that and get access to the files and all that. It's so fast. So, the technology might have changed some things, but then it also gave other artists more opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I don't see people like me who want to do my art going away just because of AI. So here's the thing. They might put some movies out with AI. Some people might use a lot of AI in their movies. But there's still going to be filmmakers and artists who want to tell their story, and people are still going to do it. And I think people will still watch it. So as long as people are still going to do it, and people are still going to watch it, who cares if Sony decides to make an all AI film?
Oh God!
I'm not going to buy
AI.
a ticket and go see it.
Could you imagine?
I saw somebody post something that Sony was going to do that. My thought is, I'm not planning on going and watching it though.
Did it say what it was about?
I didn't read the whole article.
All right, well, I'm going to find it. But I love the idea of like an AI writing it and then performing it.
Well, I think it was all performative AI. I don't know if the AI wrote it, but they were going to not hire actors.
I see.
But I think it's for an experiment, and it's probably going to be more like an animated film anyway.
Yeah.
Versus a...
Well, it's funny now that you mention it. You saw an article about people who are going to do that, and I was looking at there's a film festival starting a couple days.
Oh no, you're telling me AI film festival, right?
No, Tribeca has a AI category, and it's got 5 directors who they brought in to do shorts. They gave the directors access to Sora, the OpenAI, thanks Sam Altman, product that, you know, they opened it up for them. And they're there in their like regal thing and like proudly presents their prompt movie. And I mean, it's to me, it doesn't interest me. It's got its like fan base of people who are like, this is gonna change everything. And wait, this is just like, you just gotta adapt to the new tools. And it's just like, no, I don't. Like, I don't want to support those works.
You don't have to. You can make your art the way you want to make your art. You know, there's people out there who can use 3D animation, and yet a couple years ago, the biggest animation out and the biggest award winners were 2D. Mm-hmm. You can make your art however you want to make your art, and there will be people interested in your art. Yeah. That is my true belief, and I don't feel super threatened by it.
Yeah.
I believe that it's not going to stop me from making my art. Do I think there's going to be other competition for eyes? Yes, but so is TikTok.
Well, yeah. Oh, God. Well, even the technology itself is competition.
Right.
So even if you had this, because I'm struggling to write something right now, and as I sit down and look at the ridiculousness that I'm writing, I'm like, why would I even make this? But I guess every writer thinks that, right? So... But anyway, I'm like actually getting pretty close to having it locked in, and I'm realizing as I'm doing this, I'm like, it's gonna be competing, even whatever size screen it's on. If it's on a screen, you're competing with other screens for people to even sit idly and pay attention to your screen for the 72 minutes I want the duration to be without a phone coming out, which is really hard. It's difficult to do because I think now things are so cynically made. I heard something where it was like, oh, this scene is very two-screen friendly. And it was like, well, what does that mean? It's like, well, during this scene, it's inane enough that people, like, we expect people to pull their phones out during it, but it's just going to keep them locked into
See, this is why I like movie theaters.
Yeah.
This is why I like, because I feel like when you go sit in the dark and your other senses are shut down, like that light sensory is focused directly towards the screen, I feel like you get a much better experience watching something. Where at home, if my text goes off, if my phone's too close, I might pick it up.
Oh, you can put your attention anywhere you want.
I can pause my show
theater,
or whatever. Yeah.
If something uncomfortable happens in the story, you just got to sit with it
and
deal with it. You know, if something's making
the most you could do is,
which has happened. I've seen some moments with family members that like I wish hadn't happened. But I don't know. It builds character for that to occur, and it's like, I don't know. It's akin to like church or meditation or community storytelling. Like I can still remember certain movies, seeing them in the theater, and people laughing and people cheering, and there's really something special to that that's completely lost when you do it at home. Like you can enjoy a movie at home, but it's to see a movie with a collective group like that, and for the movie to be good enough at what it wants to communicate, for everybody to be on that emotional ride together, there's nothing else like it. That's why we got into doing this.
Yes. Yes, and it's a collaborative art form, and that's what I talked to with somebody. We were talking earlier today about the fact that that's what I like about this art form. Mm-hmm. Is that I get to work with others. I get to bring something to life in a collaboration because I like being with other people. I like working in a group. I like when people have come up with other ideas and similar ideas, and we go off that and we spend time talking, and all that's fulfilling to me. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that's going to die. The human spirit's not going to die. So I'm not super, like, there's some people that were on our strike line that are very distraught. Very worried. I don't feel as worried as them. I feel like I don't like some of the things that the streamers and these big people want to do to make more money. Yeah. I don't like that. And we need protections for the workers when they're a worker. But beyond that, if you want to go make your full AI movie, there's nothing my union could do to protect that, because you have every right in this capitalist society to go make what you want. Yeah. I can't stop you. And so the people that wanted, an actor to be called a human, who cares? It's not. Yeah. Then they'll just say, oh, that's okay. I'm not using an actor. I'm using AI, and I'm making an AI film, and it's my right as an American.
It's my right, free right as a. I'm not even. You're right. It is their right as a consumer of technology
to use it.
to use said technology in a manner appropriate deemed by the company that owns the technology. And not them.
Right. Exactly. Very well put. And if we don't like
per
it,
the agreement, per the end user license agreement.
Right.
Yeah.
And if we don't like it, we don't have to do it.
That's right.
And we don't have to support it. We don't have to go see it.
No, we don't.
Listen, I hate to say this. I didn't like Way of the Water.
Yeah.
I thought it was awful to look at those digitized beings. So I'm sorry. I like real people. I liked the first Avatar when they were painted blue.
I think they still were CG in the first one.
It was CG paint on them. Their eyes were real.
Were they?
In this, it was a cartoon face.
I think the whole faces were cartoons
We're
in the
gonna
first
pull
one.
that. We're gonna pull that up.
I'm very curious about this now.
We're gonna pull that up.
Okay.
We're gonna look at it. A clip. Because I think, not right this minute on tape, but I'm telling you, in the first one, the actress that played the actor, I thought they could really look at each other.
Yeah.
This one, it was fake eyes.
Yeah.
And it really bothered me. I was like, what am I watching this for? It's giant.
I'm excited to, when I finally am able to make this movie of this thing that I'm working on, I'm going to have, the only thing the computer's going to be used for is to cut it together. But everything else is going to be handled in camera. Because it's going for like an 80s.
We used a computer as prop on our set.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how far I'll go into that. There might be a computer. I may say, whatever.
Is it time period? Time?
No, it's basically present time, but I still am an advocate in the writing to limit screens as much as possible.
Yeah.
I don't like it when I'm watching a show and then someone pulls their phone out and then like they have to creatively figure out like, well, how are we going to handle showing what their screen says? And different productions have different attitudes. Some will just show the screen. Some will put the bubble in like a tasteful little corner somewhere and
some
animate
put the text up next to
it. Yeah, and it's like I don't want to have to solve that issue because I hate it.
Yeah. So we did a lot of that in this show.
Right.
And it was always shown directly on screen because I didn't want an animated bubble. I didn't want text.
Yeah.
And the reason that we had to do it had to do with part of the storyline where part of Kate's family is abroad.
Yeah.
So that's
phones are a part of life. I mean, they're part of life now.
I won't put that phone or any technology, like it's not written into the next part of the series so much.
Sure.
In this part, it was a required tool.
Yeah.
In order to allow knowledge of some other characters.
Yeah. You don't have to defend it.
No, I'm not.
They're part of life.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
I'm good. But, all right. Well, I think that's it. I think we talked about it all. Do you have anything?
No, thank you. Thanks for having me on the production. Thanks for having me here today. Thanks for talking to me about solving all the world's problems. I could go on about the dystopia of many different things.
I have lots of I want to solve homelessness, and I have lots of ideas about the wealthy.
Oh, same here. Great. Okay, great. Yeah, then maybe
that's for another podcast.
Spin-off podcast.
Yeah.
Solving the actual world's problems.
Solving the world's problems.
With ski masks, spray paint, and activism. I think we can.
We're all becoming Banksy?
Well, no, I mean, there's only one Banksy, but something. I mean,
shoot, if I was like Banksy and I could make all that money and not have my face, then I could really solve the world's problems because I'd have all that money because I have no problem giving away money. So if
sure,
I made a lot of money, that's great. I'd make myself a little comfortable, and then beyond being comfortable,
you can use it for.
Yeah, good. I don't need to be uber wealthy.
No,
but I need to be normal, comfortable.
If you could sell,
and I'm also not young. Kate's not getting any younger. So it's not like I have many years left to spend the money. We're not talking me getting wealthy at 20.
You could use it to shoot on film.
Yes.
And then you'd be...
And then I'd find the theater where I could project it.
Yeah, there's a few of them around here. I think Vidiot's up in Eagle Rock, they just got on the 35 millimeter capability. I was at a screening over there. That was great because the guy was an animator, Don Hertzfeldt, the man, and he goes... I work in a room alone by myself, and I'm like, man after my own heart. I like collaborating too, but sometimes when it comes to production, sometimes just like building the Legos to weave a story like that, that's why I want to do the radio play. I'll just do all the voices by myself and just
I'm down.
the
I want to
whole
do
thing.
radio play, but with other people.
Well, you have a SAG card. You can.
I can do
get
it.
on
I
that.
didn't audition this year, though.
But you can.
I didn't have my
Use-
resume.
You don't ignore your SAG privilege.
No.
I would have loved to audition for that.
Well,
thank
it was
you.
great talking to you.
You
It's
too.
fun seeing you again. Hadn't seen you in a few weeks.
Yes,
So thank you so much. Thank you for everything you did on the shoot.
absolutely.
This shoot was only as good as all the people that came together
You had
to
some
lift
very
it
good
up.
people. You had
We
some
did.
really good people.
We did and we do.
Yeah, that crew on C'est La Vie was really some of the best attitude. You could
They
hope
were
for.
in a good mood all the time.
Yeah, and
They
did
were.
a great job.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to be able to meet them and hang out with you guys.
And we shall again.
Very good.
All right. We'll
Thanks.
talk to you soon.
All
Thank
right.
you. Bye, everybody.